Welcome to Booksolve and a review of this book. I Am Homeless If This Is Not My Home by Lorrie Moore. I've just finished reading this and yeah, could well recommend it. I mean, Lorrie Moore's a great writer, um, and this is a really interesting book to read. Um, I guess to some extent you could say that this is a love story, but it's very much about uh, death and moving towards death and how we perceive a life, as well as being um, an investigation into this relationship between two people. Um, it refers twice to the third act of La Boheme. And here's the thing that it'd be pretentious of me to go, oh yeah, I know all about opera and I know about La Boheme. No, I don't, and I had to look it up to find out what happened in Act Three of La Boheme. But I think it is very illuminating to know that, because clearly Lorrie Moore was familiar with it and used it to help develop her story. Um, in La Boheme, um, Mimi arrives at a tavern, outside a tavern, meets Marcello, the painter, and she talks to him about her relationship with Rodolfo. She tells him that she loves Rodolfo, but that his jealousy and his erratic behaviour had started to become unbearable. Um, and at that point, um, Rodolfo emerges from the tavern, and Mimi hides away and listens to the conversation between Rodolfo and Marcello. And Rodolfo tells Marcello that he left Mimi because of her flirtatious behaviour. Um, and then, after they've had a little bit of a conversation, he breaks down somewhat and reveals the real reason is that Mimi is seriously ill. She has tuberculosis, um, and that he's too poor a person to help her, and that he thinks that she would be better off without him. Um, and the story develops on there through to the fourth and final act, with, being an opera, a horror tragic end. Mimi dies. Spoilers. Um, Spoilers here, I suppose, in saying that Lily, the female protagonist in this, also dies. But I think it's interesting that a lot of this book is um, about a a road trip that Finn takes, um, having we don't know really, with a ghost or an image of Lily, who has died, um, and we're not sure. Maybe he's exhumed her body and is carrying it somewhere else. She got buried very quickly in a green uh, funeral, so she wasn't buried deeply, and her body hadn't had time to rot away. Um, and so this this kind of hallucinogenic, dreamy road trip that they go on. Finn's been told um, about Lily dying as he was visiting his brother Max, um, who is also dying in a hospice, um, and he's called away from Max's bedside to come and find out of Lily's demise. And we um, So a lot of the themes are very interesting. There's a lot of illusions that Lorrie Moore uses, especially to music, to smells, to sounds. She's got some wonderful descriptions of, um, well, really of Lily's body as it's decomposing, I suppose. It's sort of not horrific, because it's gentle and sympathetic about what's happening to her on this journey. Um, the whole thing has got a sort of melancholic surrealism to it that is exceedingly attractive and interesting to read. Um, the thing about the dead is they let you talk. Is a sentence inside there, which is very true. And being a Dylan fan, it reminded me of some Dylan, which of course it so wouldn't it? Um, but particularly a line in A Narrow Way, a song that he sings on the Tempest album. Um, and I saw you buried and I saw you dug up. And there's a lot in this book that is about how we relate to people when they're alive and how we resurrect them after they've passed away, and how we change them or still talk to them even though they're gone. They're not really gone because we still hold them close to ourselves and we still have conversations with them. There are lots of stories of people, especially um, married people or couples that have been together for ages, where one dies and the other one carries on having conversations with them because it feels as though they're still about, uh, and they can still be loved. Um, so the book talks about love and it talks about grief, um, and about how that makes boundaries between life and death, between sanity and delusion. We're not quite sure how sane or how deluded um, Finn is. He's clearly not acting completely rationally in the conversations that we hear and the way that he interacts in social situations. Um, so there is a doubt as to very much as to how much of this is delusional or insane on his part. It talks, of course, of departure and return. I mean, because um, he departs from Max's bedside where he's dying, Mrs. Max dying because he's having this road trip with Lily, um, and then returns for the memorial there. Um, and I guess what it really, you get the feeling that Lorrie Moore's vision of America is one that's ironic, that's mournful, and yet rapturous, but haunted by, uh, well, it's easy to say haunted by ghosts, isn't it? But haunted by the people and the characters and the that have been active through life, which are, um, and it's got both a message of despair, because Lily is clearly deeply suicidal and has tried killing herself on a number of occasions and finally succeeds, but also one of hope because she she accepts that of herself, I think, and really is perhaps trying to teach Finn to accept that um, part of her makeup, um, and in doing so to learn more about his as well. So that's I Am Homeless If This Is Not My Home by Lorrie Moore. I would recommend it, but I guess I recommend most of the books that I read because I try to be choosy. We don't get to read that many books in our lifetime, and it's a good idea to try and make sure that you read things that are going to be worthwhile reading, and this one certainly is. So there we are. That's that from um, Booksolve, and we'll see you again soon. It's happy reading to you all.